The road to WrestleMania 42 has officially reached its peak at Allegiant Stadium, and we are breaking down every single moment from a massive night one. We are looking at the card that featured a stacked lineup of WWE talent, all fighting for their legacy on the grandest stage of them all. From championship shifts to grudge matches, we are reviewing the hits and the misses of this opening night to see exactly where it ranks in history.
Your brand new iPhone deserves the best protection, and the iLume 3-Pack Screen Protector plus 3-Pack Camera Lens Protector has you covered. Don't take risks with your iPhone. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
WrestleMania 42 Saturday is officially in the books, and we are diving into the 4 major moves WWE got right during the show. We are discussing why the victory for LA Knight and the Usos over the team of Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and IShowSpeed was the perfect booking decision for the megastar. Plus, we are breaking down the brutal unsanctioned match between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre that ended with a massive moonsault through a table. The action just keeps getting hotter as we cover the major title changes and shocking moments from the event. We are looking at how Becky Lynch finally got the better of AJ Lee to reclaim her spot at the top of the women's division. Then, we're turning our attention to the main event, where Cody Rhodes stood his ground in an emotional war against Randy Orton to successfully defend his undisputed WWE Championship. We are also covering the technical masterclass between Gunther and Seth Rollins that descended into chaos when Bron Breakker made a stunning appearance. We even have the latest on WWE legend Shawn Michaels naming Seth Rollins as his dream opponent for an Iron Man match. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss another update from the world of wrestling. Ever wonder what happens when the biggest spectacle in sports entertainment actually falls flat? The road to WrestleMania 42 has finally hit its destination at Allegiant Stadium, and while the atmosphere was electric, the opening night left us with a fair amount of questions. We're talking about the grandest stage of them all, a place where legends are minted, but the kickoff to this 2-night marathon felt a little bit underwhelming. With 7 high-stakes matches on the card and grudge matches finally coming to a head, the table was set for history, yet the opening act felt more like a standard episode of Raw than a WrestleMania moment. The opener of any Mania is sacred ground. It sets the entire tone for the weekend, and frankly, this one was a head-scratcher. Despite the social media hype and the crossover appeal, the in-ring action just didn't reach that grandiose level we demand from the showcase of the Immortals. Sure, 5 out of the 6 competitors were crisp, but it lacked that Mania magic. The biggest takeaway wasn't even during the match, but after the final bell when IShowSpeed pulled off a massive splash on the outside. It forces you to ask, if you had that kind of explosive energy on deck, why keep it out of the actual match? It feels like a missed opportunity that kept a good match from becoming a great one. We've still got plenty of drama left to unfold, so stick around as we break down the rest of the night. If you're enjoying the coverage, hit that subscribe button, because in this industry, the biggest story is often the one you don't see coming. WrestleMania 42 Saturday is officially in the books, and let's be honest, the internet is already tearing it apart for those marathon commercial breaks and the surprisingly short match times. But look past the noise and the cynical tweets, and you'll see that WWE actually pulled off some brilliant maneuvers during the showcase of Immortals. Today, we're cutting through the static to highlight the 4 moments that WWE absolutely nailed on night 1. Let's dive in. First up, the opener. We had the unlikely alliance of Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and IShowSpeed taking on LA Knight and the Usos. Look, nobody expected a technical masterpiece here, but the outcome was vital. There was genuine anxiety that WWE might sacrifice LA Knight just to put over the influencers, but they didn't. Having the Usos and the megastar get that win was the perfect way to kick off the night. It resets the playing field, and hopefully lets Knight move on to the main event spotlight where he belongs. Next, we have to talk about the car wreck that was Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. This was an unsanctioned match in every sense of the word. Steel chairs, toolboxes, and pure, unadulterated violence. Seeing Fatu put McIntyre through that table with a moonsault was a career-defining moment. With rumors swirling about McIntyre taking a well-deserved hiatus, This win gives Fatu the massive momentum boost he needs to become a genuine contender for the WWE title. That wasn't just a win, it was a coronation. Then there's the women's mid-card. The Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee saga has been a rocky road, and let's be real, AJ Lee's return was huge, but she was always just keeping the seat warm. Becky Lynch carried that division on her back for months, and she deserved that final laugh. Using a classic referee distraction to hit the manhandle slam. It was vintage Becky, and it was exactly the right way to transition the title back to someone who has done so much to make that gold feel prestigious. Finally, the undisputed match of the night. Seth freakin' Rollins versus Gunther. If you still doubt why Rollins calls himself the modern Mr. WrestleMania, you clearly weren't watching. The pace, the chemistry, the storytelling, it was absolute perfection. And even with Bron Breakker's shocking interference, the match lived up to every ounce of the hype. It reminded us that when you put two elite workers in the ring, they don't need a 5-month build to steal the show. So did Night 1 live up to your expectations, or are you still annoyed by the commercial breaks? Smash that like button, subscribe, and let me know your take on the night in the comments below. After all, in a company as unpredictable as WWE, tonight is just the prologue to tomorrow's history. Forget everything you thought you knew about professional wrestling, because WrestleMania 42 just set the bar in orbit. Over 50,000 screaming fans packed Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas on April 18, 2026. And what we witnessed wasn't just a show, it was a seismic shift in the history of the business. Let's start with the main event, because holy cow, that was a masterclass. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton didn't just wrestle, they told a story of mentorship turned bitter rivalry. It was a psychological war of attrition. When Orton landed that mid-air RKO, for a split second, the whole stadium stopped breathing. But Cody, the guy has that unteachable grit. He managed to hold on and retain the undisputed WWE Championship, proving once again that the American Nightmare is the definitive face of this new era. Then we had the technical masterclass between Gunther and Seth Rollins. These two went to war, trading blows in what felt like a legitimate physical contest. Rollins was inches away from victory after hitting a picture-perfect pedigree and stomp, but in this business, eyes are everything. A chaotic distraction at ringside left the ref looking the wrong way, handing the momentum, and the victory to the ring general. It was controversial, it was messy, and honestly, it's exactly why we love this sport. But the moment that truly blew the roof off the stadium came during the women's tag team fatal four-way. The tension was palpable when Nikki Bella hobbled out on crutches, her injury seemingly ruining the match before it started. But then, the music hit, and the crowd absolutely erupted. Paige is back. Yes, you heard that right. The icon returned to join the fray, capturing the gold and sending the Las Vegas crowd into a frenzy that honestly felt like it shook the foundations of the building. Night 1 of WrestleMania 42 wasn't just a spectacle. It was a promise that the WWE is evolving. What was your favorite moment from the night? The main event masterclass or that shock return? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that like button, and subscribe so you don't miss our deep dive into Night 2. After all, in Vegas, the house always wins. But tonight, the fans hit the jackpot. Ever wondered who the Heartbreak Kid would choose if he had to step back into the ring for the ultimate test of endurance, an Iron Man match? Well, Shawn Michaels just gave us the answer, and it's a name that has every wrestling purist nodding in agreement. In a recent chat with SiriusXM, HBK didn't hesitate to pick none other than Seth freakin' Rollins as his dream dance partner. Now, think about that for a second. The absolute master of the squared circle pitting his high-flying, technical genius against the modern-day workhorse who has carried the WWE torch for a decade. Michaels pointed out that their styles aren't just compatible, they're a match made in heaven. He highlighted that it wouldn't just be about flashy moves or high-octane speed, but the rare ability to weave a long-form story over 60 grueling minutes. That's where the true magic of an Iron Man match lies, and Shawn believes Rollins has the mental bandwidth to navigate that emotional landscape perfectly. Of course, the veteran couldn't resist a bit of classic HBK humor when asked who would take the victory. He joked that in today's world, the 20-year age gap would give Rollins the edge, but with a twinkle in his eye, he quickly reminded us that in his prime, well, he would have definitely come out on top. It's a fun fantasy to entertain, but it really makes you appreciate the legacy these two icons share. Who do you think would really walk away with the most falls? Drop your predictions in the comments below, because even if we never get to see this match, debating it is half the fun. After all, greatness always recognizes greatness, and the wrestling world is lucky to have witnessed both of them at their best.